New Zealand are in control of day two of this test match, of the first test between South Africa and New Zealand. It was a difficult day of cricket to watch, I would say. Ultimately, New Zealand were on top from the start, first with bat and now with ball, putting South Africa in a very difficult situation going into day three, four, and however long this test match is going to last. You never know with modern day tests. Uh, a lot to talk about and to discuss with regards to the situation and the match situation. But ultimately, we know that New Zealand are sitting quite comfortably in a position of strength, and it will be ultimately their game, or yeah, their game to lose in a way. I would say it was brilliant batting from a young cricketer from New Zealand. Uh, you can't when you look at the scorecard, of course, you're going to see a very good performance from one of our bowlers, but the story paints a different picture if you look at it as a whole. So we're going to be discussing day two of the test match between the two sides on today's show. But before we get going, before we get started, first and foremost, please subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell for all future videos. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. We are really close. Please help us get there quite quickly. I'd also like you guys to please subscribe to Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. You can get some stories on the current players and the coach on about this particular tour and where and how they were thinking and heading into this tour. It's something that you can still get insight into, even though the tests has started. I'd also like you guys to please get involved with our Cricket Fanatics Magazine Business Corner. We have created the Business Corner to help small businesses and medium enterprises market effectively and affordably to a cricket audience. If it's not a cricket audience that you want to reach, you can still have the conversation with us. The techniques and the methods that we use are relatable to other businesses too. So you can join the conversation. You can still join the email list, and you'll be getting free information from us on how to help you in your marketing. So, especially in this modern day society and this modern world that we live in, where big corporates and big media houses and big companies charge a hell of a lot for advertising because of the mass media that we live in, mindset that we live in. And we are the only viable option if you're a small, medium enterprise or small, medium business. So please go ahead and follow us there. Click on the link on the screen and in the description to get your information on marketing and to get your information from us and start a conversation with us 100% free. We will be giving you, having a conversation with you and finding what works for you before you even spend a cent. So please go ahead and help us and share this with your friends and family that are also in business as well. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Not something necessarily that I'm 100% looking forward to from a fan's perspective to talk about this, because of the emotions you will feel obviously straight after the situation and after this match. But ultimately, um, it has to be spoken about, and we have to talk about it. So at least I am looking forward to at least relaying the sorry, is sharing the information with you guys. So let's get straight into today's show. A very good morning and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your review show. I'm your host Khalid, and this is the show where we talk about everything that has to do with day two the first test between South Africa and New Zealand. South Africa are in a spot of bother at the moment. Their troubles continue on day two with a bat, and it started with the ball. The current situation uh, was that our seam bowlers really struggled to get breakthroughs and to cause New Zealand a lot of uh, problems. That was the main thing about today's performance. Although the Swat did get some poetic justice for his for the two dropped catches yesterday. He got Kane Williamson's wicket quite early today on day two. So that is one thing that I thought, okay, cool. Now we've gotten a little bit of a breakthrough, and things might turn in South Africa's favor at this point because generally speaking, one wicket falls and a wicket one wicket falls and another falls shortly after. So that wasn't the case for South Africa though. Uh, I think that Daryl Mitchell came in and supported Rashin Ravindra very well. Ravindra was fantastic. I have to say that he was phenomenal with his a double ton, 240 he scored. Uh, he showed everybody actually how to bat on this pitch. Patience. That is it. That's exactly what it was. He showed an amazing amount of patience. Spent 546 minutes at the crease. Um, so obviously showing an amazing amount of concentration, uh, patience, and resilience to be able to stick around there and put on runs when he can. Yes, he got a bit lucky here and there, but that's part and parcel of anybody that scores a big score. Sorry, guys. And he rode his luck, and he had the opportunity to be able to convert first his 100 into a 150 and then into a 200 and then scoring in the end 240 before Neil Brandt got his wicket. It was a very difficult day for the seamers. Um, Ultimately, they struggled to find links that really troubled New Zealand, and the damage was done basically with Ravindra. He took the New Zealand side to way past the 400 run mark. Because I mean, when Williamson lost his wicket, uh, New Zealand were on 271 for three at that point when he was the third wicket to fall, and they needed someone to stick in and take them deep into the innings and remain at the crease. But I think when Daryl Mitchell tried to open up, and I think New Zealand batters tried to open up a bit and score some runs after Daryl Mitchell lost his wicket. They were in 374. So it was time to play some shots, he felt, and they went for it. They tried to play an attacking game, particularly against what people are calling a part-time spinner in Neil Brandt, someone that isn't necessarily a frontline main spinner. Although he's had quite a lot of experience bowling spin for the Titans in domestic cricket. And they decided to go after him and I mean after the seamers and really try and attack the ball and get runs on the board quickly so that they could still have that last session of the day as well, which is important for taking wickets, as you could see by South Africa's innings so far. So everything's went to plan from a New Zealand perspective. I mean, Glenn Phillips came in with with a mentality of wanting to score runs. 39 of 42. Matt Henry came with the same mentality, 27 of 9, strike rate of 300. And that aided someone like Brandt to be able to take wickets. I think that the fact that New Zealand came out with a mindset of wanting to hit the ball, it made it easier for the spinner to take wickets, and that's exactly what happened. Ruanda Swat also took another one. He took the wicket of Tom Blandel, and that was a time when Daryl Mitchell just lost his wicket and they were just before 400. 391 for 5 at that point, and you would have thought that South Africa was starting to pull it back, trying to restrict New Zealand. And a continued performance from Ravindra took them to almost 500, 474, and it was starting to look gloomy. All in all, Neil Brandt did take 6 wickets for 119 runs, so he does need, he does need credit for that, and he needs applause for that. And to take a 5 or 6 in your first match, um, on your debut for South Africa, and as the captain, it is a very very important. It is a very very important performance that you need to speak about. Congratulations to Neil Brandt for that, for taking those wickets. But all in all, New Zealand got to 511, and it was a mammoth task for the South African batters. We knew that it was going to be, with 3 debutants at the top of the order, that it was going to be a tough day, and it was going to take a lot of patience from South Africa to try and dig their heels in and chip away at the score. And for me, it would have been about patience and trying to survive the day. That last session, playing through it and surviving the day with wickets in hand would have been ideal for South Africa. With the sun baking on this pitch, does seem like it's going to get a little bit easier to bat on. More in it for the spinners maybe later on, according to some of the pundits that were speaking about the pitch and that are familiar with the pitch. But a little bit slower for the seamers. Like we saw yes, our seamers bowl really slow, 120s, but the ball was kind of sticking into the pitch a bit today. It was a lot slower. It was coming across as being a lot slower. So this pitch is only going to slow down even more, and then the spinners are going to come into play. And that's why it's a bit of a shame, the situation that South Africa is currently in. We lost 4 wickets. Edward Moore was looking really good, so really solid at the crease. And then, yeah, a bit unlucky, I guess, not being able to judge the shorter delivery well enough from Henry. He kind of got caught in between 2 shots in a way. Yeah, I think he also took his eyes off the ball a bit, I feel, and it took an edge and went onto the helmet and then to short cover point, to Conway. So it was a good catch from Conway, I must say, but a little bit of a, a little bit of an unlucky shot, I would say, from Eddie Moore, who was looking really solid at the crease. I think he was understanding the pitch. He was looking like he was reading the bowlers pretty well. And it's a shame because him and Neil Brandt were looking quite solid in the middle. They were doing the right things, I feel. And then Neil Brandt was the first wicket to fall, of course, in the day to Jamison. He tried to leave the ball, and I think he was caught in 2 minds over there, and it took like a thick bottom edge and went to the keeper in the process of leaving the ball, in the movement of leaving the ball. So it was a shame there too, a little bit unlucky there as well. On another day, it might have missed the bat completely, even though he was in a little bit of 2 minds. And then Reiner van Tonde, I was hoping, this is the guy that I was looking forward to batting. Uh, I was looking forward to watching him play the most. Seeing that, seeing how long I've tracked his career, and Jameson set him up. Two almost identical deliveries, and Plum LBW. I do feel that he, he maybe should have not played across his front foot like that. Then he should have maybe had played a different stroke, or maybe stood somewhere. It's easy to say in hindsight. Um, but he was caught in front and hit middle and leg stump, and there was no. It was a full length delivery, and it shaped a bit, and he was caught. Um, and I think some people might say that it was the wrong method or the wrong shot to play across his pads like that. He could have maybe went for a different shot selection. But a duck on debut for Reiner van Tonde isn't a good sight to see. And then Zubair Ramza, who has some experience in New Zealand, having played a test there already, he came out to the middle, and he looked really good. I must say that he looked. It's almost like the beginning of this season for him. Against when he started for the Lions, he had some good starts, looked very solid, and then just lost his wicket in most of the time in quite unlucky fashions. And this was another unlucky way to lose your wicket. He just a couple of overs before hit Santner for a beautiful sweep shot for 4. Now you can question whether using the sweep shot at this particular stage, when your team is in trouble with wickets down, you want to try and survive the day. There's 20, 30 minutes left of the day's play. Is the sweep shot the right shot to play at this particular point? Some people may say that. Some people may question that. He just hit for a couple of overs before that, using the same shot against the same player. And this time, it was, you could say, relatively unlucky because it hit every single body part before hitting the stumps. His pad, top of his pad, I think his arm, um, his body, and then his arm, and then onto the stumps. So it was quite a strange one. And yeah, South Africa were then in trouble at 74 for 4. After getting themselves out of that difficult start after being 30 for 3, the two, him and David Bedingham, Zubair Hamza and David Bedingham, really started to revitalize South Africa's hopes of a good end to the day. And unfortunately, he lost his wicket on 23, on 22 of 38 balls. So David Beddingham's looking solid again. He's looking good at the crease. He looks like he is. I think he's preparing himself for having to grind out and spend a lot of time at the crease, because that's what we're going to need from David Bedingham and Keegan Peterson, two of the more experienced guys from a Proteas caps perspective. I know that David Bedingham only has 2 test matches under his belt, but at least some test experience. So if you're going to say that, then you kind of have to say, okay, the 2 Proteas players in this batting lineup have to save South Africa. If they can do what Kane Williamson and Ravindra did, South Africa could find themselves fighting their way back into the match, maybe just reducing the deficit, because 511 runs is a hell of a long way to go. And they're going to need at least 2 very good performances from these 2 batters to try and claw themselves back into this match and to make this game a tight one, or if they want to try and do that. Because at this point, you lost your whole top 4. It's going to be a massive mountain to climb, especially with only one recognized batter and an all-rounder left to come. So South Africa is going to need to, well, these two batters are going to need to dig their heels in and really play a more patient game, and perhaps to an extent they have to pull back on what their normal method is. They might need to dig in and play a much tougher, more resilient type of innings. And yes, I think hit the bad deliveries, but defense needs to be good. The leaving needs to be good, and I think spin will come more into play tomorrow. So it's going to be quite a tough day for of cricket for these two batters. They're going to have to partner each other really well, run well between the wickets, support each other well, and just stick away at the runs. You at least need to tire New Zealand's bowlers out a bit and allow them to actually be out there in the middle, baking in the sun like we did. So a lot of work to do from a South African batting perspective for both of these batters, but a lot of concerns around our bowling. In hindsight, we can now sit here and say maybe perhaps because Neil Brand took 6 wickets, why didn't we play a spinner? I think that, yes, don't take anything away from Neil Brand's performance. I'm not taking away anything from his performance, and taking 6 for is a big thing in Test cricket. It's a big achievement, especially on your debut. And I'm not going to take away anything from him. But even though he took 6 wickets, there isn't an enormous amount of spin in the surface. I think where New Zealand have the advantage with the bowling attack is that they have a couple of Ks on our bowlers. They're just slightly faster on this wicket than our bowlers. And also, in their batting lineup, they don't have uh, 3 debutants playing at the top of the order. But that's no excuse, because we knew that that was going to be the case. We knew that it's going to be tough. And you would expect better from this batting lineup, regardless of whether they're debutants or not, especially after you get a good start. That, I think, is the most frustrating thing for me as a fan right now, sitting here and watching this game, is that some of these batters got a good start. It wasn't like Reinhardt coming out and then set up within 2 balls. And the other batters, Eddie Moore, Neil Brandt, they got some bat on ball. They had some time in the middle they faced some balls before they lost their wickets. So that initial nerves would have been overcome. And especially, I'm especially upset about Eddie Moore and Zubair Hamza's wickets, because there was an element of luck for New Zealand there, yes, but it's just disappointing. And that that they couldn't kick on after getting themselves in to a solid start. When I say a solid start, I mean they were seeing the ball well, hitting the ball well, getting into good positions, looking solid in their defense. So that's what makes it a little bit of a shame. They got through the difficult part of their innings, I would say, the initial nerves, that initial beginning period. They got through that period, and then they lose their wicket. And that's the most frustrating thing, because I can just imagine what it would have been like for them as players, because they would have felt probably nervous at first. And I think at the times that they lost their wicket, at that particular point in time, they probably would have been thinking, you know what, I'm feeling good, I'm seeing the ball well, and then bam, things change. So that's that. It's sad and unlucky. So we are in the situation that we are currently sitting at, and we have a whole mountain to climb when it comes to this test match. a hell of a lot of runs to still chase. Um, we are still 431 runs behind, and we're going to need something really, really special from David Bellingham and Keegan Peterson. We could, in the end, I mean, a possibility could be, and I don't want to put this necessarily in the universe, but when you're sitting in a situation like you are currently, there is a high possibility after losing 4 wickets that you could get bowled out cheaply and then been forced to follow on. And South Africa's main aim is to try and survive tomorrow, to bat the day out, and it's going to be extremely hard to do so. It's going to be very hard to do so, and there's going to be a hell of a lot of pressure on David Bellingham and Keegan Peterson, Clyde Fontaine, Ruanda Swart to try and make up for the start that we had. So, by no means is this going to be easy. This is going to be a very challenging match, and we're going to have to wait and see how we can combat New Zealand. They're not necessarily bowling with extreme pace. They are giving us some deliveries that we can put away. So the consistency and rhythm is still going to come, I feel. And we're going to obviously need to stick out and fight in the middle. That's the only way I know forward. That's the only way they can approach this. I don't think that the problem with that is that they're going to need to temper their natural games here. So they're going to have to adjust according to adjust their games and their natural game plan for for the rest of this test match, for the rest of this day, for the rest of day 3. So I'm hoping that luck is on our side on day 3. That, I mean, David Bellingham did get, it was dropped, so I'm hoping that it can be the same as what has happened to Ravindra and Williams, that they are, that he's able to ride his luck and get a good score tomorrow and save South Africa from an embarrassing first innings total. I think that's going to be on the cards tomorrow, and that's going to be the most important thing. Uh, Kyle Jameson was looking really good. Took 2 for 21. Yes, Reina van Toorn's ball did look a little low, but it is what it is. That's cricket. You need to find a way to survive in this current situation. And South Africa are 80 for 4 after 28 overs. So not the best start for our batters, these, and particularly the newer batters. But yeah, we are where we are. Theodore C. Janssen says, "Good morning, Khalid. Maybe time to get a few of the players from SA20 teams, MRCT and PC, on the next flight out for the second test." Laugh out loud. Hey, Calvarena can come through. But I mean, I think we need more of the bowlers, eh? I think that's what we need. We need KG back. So KG can fly. Why not KG fly back for the second test? I wonder if that's possible. Um, I wonder if it's possible, and I wonder if that's fair. I don't know. But MICT sitting with one of our test players, and we could need him right now in New Zealand. We could need his bowling experience and his pace. Definitely. Yeah. So that's something that I'm hoping for. Gaurav says Hamza threw his wicket. It was needless shot to play. It's a good wicket to bat on. And I agree with you there, because I did say that in the show, at the top of the show. I said that you can say that at this particular stage in the match, there is no need to play the sweep shot. I know that he feels comfortable playing that shot against the spinners, and he just got a boundary away previously. But you can, that's something that you can suppress, uh, is the need to want to play that shot. And it's that is something that I feel we need to think about going into this match, the rest of this match. I think David Bedingham as well. He kind of needs to suppress his natural instincts to want to just go and attack and play attacking shots consistent all the time. We saw that how Kevin Williamson and Ravindra batted on this wicket. Ravindra is naturally an attacking batter. He likes to play shots. We can see that in the white ball arena. So he had to temper his game. He had to alter his adjust his game so that he can spend some time out in the middle and score a big score like he did. And we're going to need the same from David Bedingham and Keegan Peterson tomorrow. We're going to need them to try and adjust their game plans and get stuck in. And yes, Zubair Hamza, there was no need to play another sweep shot at this stage in the game when your team is down 3 wickets. Uh, Try and play the least amount of risky shots that you can, and a sweep shot is one of those risky shots. It's a good option against the spinners, yes, but it's always a risk. There is a risk involved in playing the sweep shot. That's why not everybody plays it. Gaurav, there is no pace in bowling, literally can't threaten New Zealand. Batters, it's fair to get KG, why not? Says Gaurav. It's important series for players like Hamza and Peterson need to make the most of it. We would have taken 80 for 3 if we were asked. I mean, the commentator was just saying that New Zealand will be happy, very happy and ecstatic if they can take it to 80 for 4 uh, by the end of they could take 4 wickets by the end of the day's play. And as he was saying that, we lost our fourth. So yeah, decisions at this level. You need to make the right decisions with when you're batting. You need to make the right decisions in the middle. That is something that needs to be done when you want to play at the highest level. And yes, there was an element of unluckiness in some of the wickets, but you are also in control of the type of shots that you're going to play and the approach that you're going to take in a match. And there's nothing more for me to say about this than we're in a terrible position currently, and we're going to need a very good performance from our two batters at the crease, David Bedingham and Keegan Peterson, if we want to be competitive in this test match. It's as simple as that. So, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this review show. We will be back again tomorrow with another review show directly after the day's play. Let's hope that we are sitting here feeling a lot more enthusiastic about the day's play, with a lot more energy and a lot more and feeling a lot more calm than we are this morning. The exact start that we didn't want from this batting unit is the exact start that we got. And unfortunately, we're going to have to ride this wave and find a way on how to revive our innings, because we are sitting in a very, very difficult position with New Zealand on top in this test match. So thanks a lot for tuning in, everybody. I'll see you again tomorrow with another daily show, with another review show. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace out, everyone.